Hey, what's up? This is David Benjamin from HealthyWildandFree.com. Today I want to talk to you about red blood cells and how you can help the health of your red blood cells and keep your red blood cells healthy and increase red blood cell count if your red blood cell count is low in the first place. So if your red blood cell count is low, you can have anemia, you can feel sick, tired, and weak often. Red blood cells are responsible for carrying oxygen throughout the body, which is a very important factor for energy and production of just vitality, energy, and feeling good. Red blood cells also transport nutrients and hormones, but their main responsibility is transporting oxygen throughout the body. So oxygen is obviously extremely important for health and well-being. We can go days without food and water, but we can't live for more than a few minutes without oxygen. So oxygen is extremely important, and red blood cells carry that task within our body, and that's their main objective, if you will. So red blood cells are contain a pigment called hemoglobin, which is a pigment that is responsible for binding to iron, the mineral, and those two together is what transport oxygen throughout the body. So actually, when hemoglobin, which is the pigment in red blood cells, and iron, the mineral, bind together, that's what produces the red color, and that's why they're called red blood cells. So they differ from white blood cells in a few ways. Red blood cells carry oxygen and transport nutrients and hormones and things. White blood cells more work on the protection and defense mechanisms within the body. So immunity, fighting foreign organisms, and things like that. The red blood cells don't have a nucleus, the white blood cells do. So the red blood cells are actually smaller and can transport further, if you will, in the body because they're actually smaller in size. So red blood cells are extremely important. It's important to have healthy red blood cells, healthy amounts of hemoglobin, and the right nutrients that your body needs to support healthy red blood cell function, development, and growth, so that your red blood cells transport oxygen throughout your body. So when red blood cells are in your body, they essentially use oxygen and hemoglobin. So hemoglobin basically eats carbon dioxide and binds to oxygen and then carries that throughout the body. So it causes your body to expel carbon dioxide and it transports the oxygen efficiently and effectively. So it's extremely important because obviously oxygen, like I said, is very important for your health and well-being, and you can't go for a few minutes without oxygen. So let's just real quick recap what oxygen does to the human body and why it's so important and what areas of the body use it. So obviously your circulation, your blood carries oxygen throughout your entire body. So your muscles, your entire body of muscles needs oxygen to function and to properly optimize and produce energy and have strength and vitality and things like that. So obviously your legs, your arms, your shoulders, your chest, your abs, everything, your back, everything needs oxygen. All of your muscles need oxygen. Your digestive system also needs oxygen to break down food and help within regulate digestive processes. So your digestive system obviously depends on it as well. Your heart and your lungs obviously depend on oxygen. Your lungs being the organ that have the carbon dioxide oxygen relationship with your environment around you, so red blood cells are what support your lungs in order to breathe and have good respiratory health and well-being. So that's obviously very important. And then your brain health. Most people don't think about this, but your brain is extremely dependent on oxygen, and bad posture or lack of nutrients or tension within the neck or any area right here can restrict oxygen and blood flow to the brain, which can cause all sorts of things like fogginess, foggy thinking, headaches, tension, whatever it may be, and that's because oxygen and or blood flow and nutrients are restricted. So your brain isn't able to use as much oxygen or nutrients as needed. So red blood cells are extremely important, as are white blood cells, but today we're talking about red blood cells. So what you can do to have healthier red blood cells and increase your red blood cell count is to simply get more iron in your diet. That's the very first and most important thing you can do, because when iron binds to hemoglobin, the main pigment in red blood cells, those red blood cells actually turn red, and then they're more activated, if you will, to transport oxygen throughout the body, to bind to carbon dioxide, to transport oxygen better, as well as to balance pH in the body as well. Red blood cells actually help to balance pH with the ability they have to bring oxygen to the body. So you're getting the benefit just by adding more iron-rich foods to your diet. So eat a lot of iron-rich foods. Vitamin E is also very beneficial for red blood cells, and then vitamin B2, B3, and B12. So 3 different B vitamins, vitamin E, vitamin E is kind of a protective antioxidant vitamin, and iron are the most important nutrients that you can get in your diet to support red blood cell health and function, which, as I mentioned, is going to transport and carry oxygen throughout your entire body and support your muscles, your digestive system, your cardiovascular system, your lung health, and brain function. So if you're an athlete looking to optimize your performance, or if you want to optimize brain performance, or you just want to be healthier overall and have more readily available oxygen in your body, which, by the way, the more readily available oxygen you have in your body also helps to prevent diseases like cancer and many other diseases, because cancer cells are anaerobic, meaning they exist and thrive in a anti-oxygen environment, in a non-oxygenated environment. So if you're giving your body nutrients that support red blood cell health, growth, and development, the oxygen is more easily and readily available and able to transport in your body, which means that you're preventing cancer. And if I had cancer, I would still do things to boost my red blood cells and focus on that as well. So it's great to prevent diseases, but just to kind of keep optimal health and well-being and vitality at peak levels. So eat more iron-rich foods, vitamin E-rich foods, and vitamin B2, B3, and B12-rich foods. Those 5 nutrients are going to support your red blood cell health and development. And I will link up some of those foods below in the article. Thanks a lot for watching this video. My name is David Benjamin from healthywildandfree.com. Please like, favorite, comment, and share this video below. Subscribe below if you haven't already subscribed. And I will see you in the next video. Make sure to live healthy, wild, and free. Bye.